Yo, what is up, dudes? So we are gathered here today to upgrade this Donner T-style guitar. I have to say I like a lot of things about this guitar. I love the color, the pick guard. I love the fretboard. It's nice and dark. And I love the feel of the neck. The fretwork is great. Everything about it. It's a $99 guitar. At some point, something has to go bad. Something has to be sort of weak. And what it is it's really the pickup. Especially the bridge pickup. The neck pickup actually isn't that bad. Bridge pickup is particularly bad though because it's not quite fully wax potted, or it's not even wax potted at all. And the saddles on the bridge, you know, they're practically like stamped steel. It's pretty. They're pretty weak. They're pretty thin. And I opened up the electronics, and you know, it's the small, like little dime size pots and and everything. So I said I'm going to upgrade this thing. So I went on Amazon and I bought this whole kit, and I didn't want to spend that much money, so I would need a new set of pickups, new electronics, a new switch, and a new bridge. But how much money are you going to sink into a guitar that sells for $99? I mean, at some point it feels a little ridiculous, right? So I did find this kit on there for $72. It was like 71 and change, about $72, and it came with everything. It came with the pickups, the bridge, and the electronics, and it should be here in like a day or two. And when it comes in, I'll fire up the camera and we will shoot a video of comparing the two products. And then once I get everything in, we'll come back and we will check it out again. But this pickup, if you can check, 1 2 1 2. I'm just saying it's a bit microphonic. And that's not good. So how do pickups get microphonic? Pickups are just wound, and the windings, if they move, they can actually make a little bit of sound. In fact, if they vibrate the way they get vibrated by the air, then it acts like a microphone. How manufacturers, and plus these would squeal like crazy if I plugged it into an amp. How manufacturers get around that is they dip the pickup at some point, and it's usually towards the very end, right before packaging. The final tops, or the final, bit of, dressing around the outside of it. They wax pot it. They dip it into wax, and the wax fills all that space and prevents the windings from moving around a little bit. And that works. That totally works. But either this one isn't wax potted or it's poorly wax potted. But either way, I could try to wax pot it myself, but you need to get almost like a frying unit and the correct wax, and it's a mixture of beeswax and paraffin. It's a whole thing. So I was like, you know what? I'll just get a replacement kit. All right. I will see you over at the bench. It's probably a couple of days from now. And we will unbox the new kit. We'll check it out. We'll pull this out. We'll swap everything over. And then I'll see you back here. And we'll check it out. See you in a bit. Yo, we are back. What is up? We are back after all the mods on the Donner. So to sum up, we have new bridge saddles, new pickups, new electronics, new switch, and this is a new plate that all came together and pre-wired. I did have to solder 5 wires, right? You have to solder the output, you have to solder the ground, and you have to, right? So the output is 2 wires, the ground is 1 wire, and the hot and cold from each pickup. So those 4, so 7 soldering points. But the quality of the pickup, it's like night and day. It is so much better. I think I might out of tune. That sounds right. So those old pickups were ceramic. These Alnico, I forget if they're Alnico 3s? I'd have to look at the specs on the website again. But the saddles are so much better. It is like night and day, the quality of the saddle. You know, and these aren't like super duper. You know, you remember this whole kit with everything was only $72. So, you know, fairly inexpensive for everything. The pickups, the bridge, the saddles, the plate, the knobs, the electronics, you know, everything. It's about $72. Huge upgrade though. The one thing I couldn't keep was the plate, because even though they were very similar, the mounting holes didn't exactly line up the same, and I didn't want to go filling the body and then you have to drill new holes. It's a big project. I was like, no. It is infinitely easier to just transfer this pickup to this bridge plate and to transfer the saddles. And you know what, the plates, the newer plate admittedly was better finished. In other words, you can kind of see the roughness. That other one was smoother, like almost like how this plate is a little smoother, right? But you know, it would have been a much bigger project to try and fill and drill and go through that whole rigmarole. Then what if you don't get the plate lined up just right? There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Much easier just to swap out these saddles. Now, when you swap these out, you have to do a complete setup on this. You know, obviously, even if you left the saddles on it, you can't just mount this bridge and go. You've got to set the height. You've got to set the distance from the 12th fret to get the intonation correct. You know, that takes a little bit. That probably took 30 minutes, you know, between setting the height and setting the intonation. You know, like 15 minutes to set the height. And setting the height is easy enough. You check the radius. It's a 12-inch radius, and then you get a radius guide. And then I just set my high E and my low E where I like them. And then I just I set all the other ones like super high, and then I just lower them down to the correct height so that when it's, you know, against the radius guide, that the string radius on the bottoms of the strings match the radius of the fretboard. And I find that setup seems to work best for me. Some people like to go flat across. I don't like that. The high and the low strings feel too high and the middle strings feel too low. I like to follow the radius. That is my preferred method. I just think the guitar feels better that way. setting the intonation, setting the saddles. I think it's those high soon. Here's a B. Brand new strings. And there's a B string. It's just an infinitely better sounding guitar. It goes from a guitar that I would probably never play because the pickups were so weak. They were unpotted basically, or mispotted, or poorly potted. That you have to wax pot pickups to prevent the windings from moving around under vibration, or else. See, now you would hear that. Wait, hold on. Let me turn this up. You can kind of hear it a little bit. It was so apparent with the old pickups because you'd be hitting it and you'd be banging around the windings. These are wax potted, and you don't have any of that. They're not microphonic like the last ones, where you could hear it right away. As soon as I played that one right out of the box, I said, "Oh, these sound a little microphonic." But, you know, it's a $99 guitar. And how much money are you going to throw at a $99 guitar? And I said, you know, let me just look on Amazon, and here I find something that covers everything I need. New saddles. Those were a huge upgrade. New pickups. That's what was really pushing this whole change. Because the bridge pickup was just such... open microphonic noise whenever you try to play it. It was kind of unplayable. And then the icing on the cake was all new electronics, which I have to say feel very, very nice and smooth, and they work really well. And do the telly-wah. What a huge upgrade for the guitar. So if you have one of these and you have the same issue I had, maybe your tuning stability wasn't the greatest because of the saddles. Maybe you felt like the bridge pickup was a little too noisy, microphonic. Certainly shrilly and squeaky if you were playing through a live amp. Give this whole kit a try. It's a real boost. I'll bet if you had a Squire, and it would have to be a low end Squire. I think a classic vibe, but probably maybe even a lateral move, if maybe even not a downgrade. The some of the Squires you're fine. But if you had like a real entry-level one and you wanted to mod it, I think this kit's pretty good. And they have like 3 different kits. So pay attention to the screw pattern. Or else, you may... This screw pattern I thought was going to work, and it is very close. But it doesn't quite line up. So I had to just reuse the plate that I had here. So, but... It is such an improvement, such a marked improvement over the guitar, stock out of the box. It changes it from a guitar that I would almost certainly, sell or give away, to one I'm gonna probably hold on to. Not the least of which, I just think it's a really good-looking guitar. Look at this thing. The dark fretboard, and I should make a video where I don't show the headstock. Go check out my new custom Sir. Watch heads explode when I go, wah, wah, it's a $99 Donner. Like, who else has that flat bottom like that? Anyway, there you go. The Donner, upgraded. New pickups, new electronics, new saddles. Everything. Most of the hardware in the body. Kept the plate and the pick guard. You go. I also threw a little bit of cavity tape in there, not the least of which is to have a grounding point, because trying to solder to this bridge was impossible because the back was also chromed like the front, and sticking to that chrome was like damn near impossible. I would have had to take a Dremel and scrape it down a little bit to make a contact point, or etch it with some acid. And I'm like, no. But I did overlap it on the edges of the bridge so that it connects, like everything is touching that and it's all connected together. So it should create a pretty good grounding circuit. And it's been not, these are single coils. Sure, if I was facing my computer or these LEDs, it would be worse. But it seems to be. That's pretty good. Yeah, not bad. All right, dudes, there you have it. I will leave links in the description if you're interested in checking out that hardware upgrade. And there you go. As always, thanks so much for hanging out. And rock on.